up, everybody? I'm Scott from Skeletonwitch, and I'm with All Access here, and I'm going to show you my guitar rig. And I'm going to be the first to tell you I'm not a huge gear guy. I tend to grip it and rip it. Something goes wrong, I'm always like, Nate, our other guitarists, help me fix this. What's wrong with it? Definitely not a guitar nerd as far as the equipment goes, but show you what I do know and what I do have. In Skeletonwitch, we keep things really simple. For instance, the signal chain, it goes right from my guitar into my tuner, and simple, Boss, what TU3 used to be TU2. We've gone through a million of these things. Right from my guitar into my tuner, and my guitar's a little bit hot, a little noisy, so I do also run the NS2 noise suppressor, and that goes straight into the head. And the heads that we use are, Nate and I both use the same. They're Marshall JCM 2000 DSLs. And even though they do have, reverb and, we can switch between clean and gain, we typically don't play some of the clean stuff that we have on the records live. So, we kind of just set it and don't touch it, which is it's a blessing and a curse because it makes it really easy when we're playing live, and I'm not, tap dancing on a bunch of pedals or anything. But the other side of that, I guess, too, is that we play all of our leads just dry. There's, whatever the tiny bit of reverb I just put on my guitar is what's there the whole time. So
you actually do use a little bit of reverb the whole time?
Just the tiniest bit, yeah.
It helps.
It's pretty inaudible, but I think it helps a little. Because it doesn't make a huge difference for riffs, but it makes a little bit more difference for leads, I suppose. But really, it's almost negligible. So we play them pretty dry. So it's like I said, a blessing and a curse, as you can hear every little thing that we do. As far as the settings go, I don't know if you want to take a look at them, but they're also pretty simple. The only thing I would point out maybe that we do that some people don't is we keep a lot of mids in our sound. I think a lot of modern metal guys tend to really dial out the mids or scoop the mids, but we keep them in there, and it kind of gives it more of that, old school Slayer-y kind of sound. Combined with the fact that we also tune in standard E, like 440. All of our records, everything we've ever done, every live show, it's always been in standard tuning. So that's something else that maybe it's a bit unique about what we do. Let's see, in the cabs are just, your standard Marshall 1960 cabs. One interesting thing that Nate may have mentioned is that the way we run our cabs, we actually run long speaker cables across the stage. So the top cabinet, I'm coming out of this, and then the bottom cabinet is actually Nate. And the same thing on his side. I'm coming out of his bottom cab. And that kind of developed from us playing so many house shows, DIY spaces, and everything when we started. And there would be no PA. It was just the amps, and we'd be pretty far apart. So the reason we started doing it was so people could hear all the guitar harmonies. You had both guitars on each side of the room, and it also provides a little bit of a built-in monitor for you if there's nothing, if there are no monitors, which in those days that was the case usually too. So I can still hear Nate's guitar a little bit. One little thing that's kind of cool that Nate and our singer Chance thought of is these little custom guitar holders. So we put our backup guitars on here when we're playing, which a lot of people never, I don't know how they thought of it. I think it's a pretty genius idea to just have it right there, so we don't have to mess with stands on stage that can get knocked over and everything. So that's right there, and just
especially when space is limited and you don't have room for a guitar stand on stage.
Exactly, yeah. When space is extremely limited, it's nice to have it right there and ready to go. Other than that, the guitar that my main guitar is. It's a custom V. It is modeled after an old Gibson. It was built by a friend of mine named Elliot John Connery, hence the initials on the headstock. And for any guitar nerds out there, you may have heard of a company called Stewart Mcdonald. They're based out of Athens, Ohio, which is where we are from. And they supply, they do huge parts supply and ordering and stuff like that. And they also do really high-end maintenance on guitars. Like for instance, after Hurricane Katrina, they had an influx of old hollow bodies and all these jazz guitars that these guys sent up. And they worked on Steven Seagal's guitars and stuff like that. They have some huge clients, which is pretty cool. And my buddy works at the shop and apprenticed under someone that also, guitar freaks might know, a guy named Dan Earlywine, who wrote for Guitar Player for years. I think he's written for Guitar World some and stuff too. And Dan built Albert King's V, back in the day, the blues player, who's also a lefty. My friend Elliot actually got the schematics from that and kind of did a metal take on Albert King's old V. He has the T-bar tailpiece. Mine, of course, just has the single pickup. So that's my main guitar. It's essentially an old Gibson V, but it's custom. It's not technically, even though the schematics were used. And as you can see, it's also beat to hell. But I like it that way. I don't think I'll ever refinish it. It's just.
And it's also a left-handed guitar.
It's also a left-handed guitar. Yes, I am a southpaw, so I was born wrong-handed, as Nate will say, but I prefer to, you know, I think everybody was born right-handed. Some people just get over it. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of the basics of the rig. You know, like I said, it's real simple. It makes it a lot easier for setting up. It makes it a lot easier as far as things going wrong. You know, there's less to go wrong, the less stuff we have in the signal line. So,
just out of curiosity, what's the little hook for?
oh, the hook here is for we have deer skulls that we hang as part of like a stage prop on our amps, and yeah, if we have room, we'll bust them out on the stage. You know, and we'll have extra lights and fog and other shit that we do. So that's another Nate and Chance creation. They put these hooks in there and attach them to the back of the deer skulls. So a little bit of heavy metal ambiance, and also a little bit of Ohio in there for you, since, you know,
awesome.
From where we're from, you know, they're deer skulls that friends of ours actually hunted in Ohio. They're the real thing. So, yep, that's what the hook is for. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so pretty simple. Hope you guys dig it, and if you get a chance to check out our new record, Forever Abomination. You know, by the time you see this, it's probably already out, so you can find it all over the place.